If you're looking for a way to power up your nutrients with a plant-based protein powder, then raw vegan plant-based protein is the perfect choice. This vegan protein is packed with essential nutrients to help you stay energized and healthy. With plant-based protein powder becoming increasingly popular amongst health-conscious individuals, it's no surprise that raw vegan plant-based proteins has become a leader in the industry. Whether you're an athlete or just looking to increase your daily protein intake, this vegan protein powder can help you reach your goals. Visit rawvegan.com. Again, rawvegan.com. Welcome to the Second Win Boxing Media. I'm your host, Rashid Hammond. And today, man, we got a very special guest in the building, ladies and gentlemen. We have no other than one of my stable mates from the beginning. When I walked in the Hillcrest Boxing Gym, I saw a very slick fighter moving around, head movement. I imitated some of his moves. Ladies and gentlemen, I have no other than my big brother, ladies and gentlemen, Ernesto Rodriguez. How's it going, brother?
Hey, man, I'm doing well, man. Blessed. Glad to be on the show. I appreciate you giving me the airtime and the opportunity to be able to come on the show and, talk about boxing.
Yes, indeed, man. I remember the days at Hillcrest, man, when I first got there, and first started training, man, and I saw you in there. You was, man, hitting the bag and your head movement and your slick moves that you was making, man. And when people used to see me and they'll finally see you, like I think I was in Cincinnati and Gerald, and it was like, man, you two fighters. Like I said, we from the same gym.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we got some of the same moves, man. I imitated some of his moves, but let's start back for you when you first got involved in boxing. How that journey started for you?
Well, I first started boxing in Panama City, Panama, where I was born in Panama. There was a fighter by the name of George Alvarado who lived in the neighborhood, and he was a world-class fighter. He actually challenged for the title against Roger Mayweather, and he lost. I'm not sure if it's a decision, but he lost the fight, and that was the only loss that he ever had, and he retired after that loss. So it was something that I grew up seeing and doing. Like people play basketball, I didn't play basketball. Uh, we play baseball, soccer, and boxing. Those are the things that we grew up in. El barrio, they used to call it, in the neighborhood. And it was just something that just natural, fighting was just natural. It was just something to do. We lived in from humble beginnings, and that was just a way of life to fight everything out, And I started in Panama, and then I moved to the U.S. and picked it back up once I moved here.
So how was that transition coming from Panama to the United States? What was that like for you back then?
Well, definitely a different way of lifestyle. The culture was different. The neighborhood was much nicer. The food was better. The schools were nice. I mean, it was a level up, step up. Uh, Definitely, I tell my kids all the time about how grateful I am to have the opportunity to move to the U.S. and pursue a better life for myself and for my family. It's like night and day. I mean, you go from poverty to considerable. I moved here and we thought we were rich, but we were middle class. But the way the difference were it's so much so drastic. Which allows me to appreciate a lot the little things in life as I grew up here in the U.S. and I don't take things for granted. Make mistakes. We are human, but for the most part, I try to I will try to take advantage of every opportunity that I can put my hands on. And by the grace of God, I've done very well for myself and for my family. And my goal is to put my family in a route to financial wealth, financial liberty, and financial freedom.
Yeah. So when I came to Hillcrest, I think you was in high school at the time.
Yes,
How
yes.
long were you here from that time? I think that was about from high school before that. How
Yeah,
long were you here
yeah.
then?
I moved here when I was 10 years old.
It's
At
10.
the
Okay.
age of 10, I didn't speak any English. I spoke broken English, so to speak.
Okay.
And I had to go to school, take ESO classes, learn how to read and write, proper English and things like that. I made friends in the neighborhood, and being so young, it allowed me to learn the language a lot quicker than normal. And um, I joined boxing back at the age of 14 and a half, turning 15, which is
Okay.
when I started training at Hillcrest.
Okay. How was that journey when you first got to Hillcrest? What made you go and pick Hillcrest as the location for you to train at? Who was your trainer there?
Well, at that point, I was working at Iverson Mall. I had got a part-time job at the age of 14 at Iverson Mall, and someone told me about a gym right down the street, 23rd Parkway. So I used to jog from Iverson Mall down to 23rd Parkway, in which I met my old trainer, the late Tom Browner, and I met him, and he was very yeah, that's him. And it's a Tuttle, I met the late Tom Browner, and he was a very nice, respectable man. From day one, we developed a relationship, and I looked at him more like a father figure because he used to always give me good words of advice, more than just boxing, which is the same thing that I try to do now. Not try that I actually do now to the young fighters that I encounter. And it just went from there. From that point, I already had boxing in my blood, but Tom Browner helped me develop boxing to the next level. And here I am today, thankful and grateful for the time that he took as a trainer. Because a lot of people don't realize trainers sacrifice a lot. Now that I'm a trainer, I see the sacrifice that he made, and man, I'm so grateful for
Yeah.
for him, investing in me, and part of who I am today is because of him.
Yeah. Tom was one of those dedicated trainers where he did take the time out for us,
Hmm.
and I remember Tom when we would go to after the gym. This when I just stopped eating meat after I went open, but before that I
Hmm.
was eating meat, right? And
Right.
Tom had took us to this steak and cheese spot located down there by man. Tom will feed you though. I'll tell you that much. Tom
Yeah.
will feed you.
That's my man, Tom.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed, man. He was dedicated to it. Give me some of the things that you use now today that Tom had installed in you back in those days in the '90s and part of the '80s.
Discipline. Uh, yeah, discipline is definitely the first and foremost thing that I use uh, when it comes to training fighters. I don't. When you first start training, you just trying to learn the craft. But at this point now, and I guess the level I'm at, I look for fighters that are disciplined. If they're not disciplined, I don't waste my time with them. You're gonna notice that a lot of fighters are not going to train with me, and
Yeah,
that's because of my mannerism and my faith and the way that I conduct myself. If there's no discipline, I'm very very straightforward. and respectful. But I'm not wasting my time.
Yeah,
It's just a moot point. I want to help people that want to help themselves. The Bible said God will help those who help themselves,
that's
and
facts.
I feel as though I want to help people that want to help themselves be better, be the better men, better fathers, better sons, better brothers. Not just better boxers, because the reality is most fighters are not gonna make it. But this is a journey that we can learn and gather so much from boxing. Here I am. I didn't become a world champion, but I learned so much from boxing that has
Yeah,
allowed me to propel myself to a next level.
and you know the beauty of interviewing you, I get a lot of some guys are boxers, some guys are trainers.
Hmm.
Now I can touch on. I'm going to be able to touch on two aspects of your career, from the boxing aspect as a fighter, as well as the training aspect. Well, as far as the boxing aspect, tell me some memorable stories that you have about your amateur career. Then we're going to talk about your professional career. The,
Well, uh, as an amateur, I fought the great Floyd Mayweather Jr.
yep,
Fought him in 1995 in Dallas, Texas.
yep,
I think it was the Powell Nationals, the first Olympic qualifier. So I knew he was good back then because he was very well known. And funny story, we met in the elevator with it was myself, the late Gary Russell. I mean Gary Russell Senior,
yeah,
uh, Nate Jones, and some other fighters. I can't remember exactly, but anyway, Gary was talking to Floyd Mayweather and said, "You know who you fight next week? Tomorrow night." He said, "Yeah, I fight one of the guys from DC." And he was like, "Yeah, some guy named Rodriguez." And Big Gary said, "Yeah, man, Rodriguez, man, he could fight." And Floyd said, "Man, I'm gonna bust him up. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that." And then, and then Big Gary looked at me and said, "Ernesto, you hear that?" And then Floyd looked at me and he said, "Oh, you are Ernesto, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Okay, I'm gonna get it on." So I didn't do much, back and forth. But I said, "Okay,
yeah.
man, we'll see tomorrow night." And we ended up fighting, and it was a very good fight, man. It was a competitive fight. Nevertheless, he won on points, and that's the I guess you could say that's one of the highlights of me winning. I mean, being an amateur. I won the nationals and invitational. One of them actually, we was together.
We won
Ohio
it
State
together.
Fair.
Yes,
Yeah, we
indeed.
won it together.
We
Ohio
won
State
two
Fair.
together. We won at
Yeah,
NABA, whatever it was.
yeah, the invitational
Yeah,
Cincinnati. Yeah,
yes,
we
yes,
won two. Yeah, we won two nationals together.
yeah.
Then I won silver in one of the power nationals.
I thought you
Really
won
thought
that, man. I thought you
everybody
won that,
listen. The
man.
whole
I'm
the
trying to
whole
tell you,
Coliseum
man.
booed. I thought, but I fought the Olympic one of the Olympic coach. I
Yes,
can't think
indeed.
of his son. His son,
The
yeah,
son. Yep, yep.
yeah, his son. I can't think of the guy's name, but those are some of the highlights in my amateur career that I can say that I can tell my kids, my grandkids, and speak about it like what I'm doing today
Yes,
to
indeed.
you on your boxing platform. I had a great amateur career, man. I enjoyed what I did. I learned. I had some nightmares. One of them was James Baker. He was my nightmare.
Yeah, yeah.
the,
Games a
the
lot of
mo-
people nightmares, man.
yeah, he was the most difficult fighter that I ever had problem with because long arms, slick
Yeah,
fighter, fast. Um, but it's things like that allow me to that allowed me to be who I am today. I took my wins good. I took my losses,
mhm.
but overall, it molded me to know what it's like to have perseverance. To push forward, to keep going, and to have that mental fortitude. And man, I apply that to my everyday life today. And I'm still fighting the fight, man. I'm just fighting a different fight right now.
Yes, indeed, man. Now that you touched on the amateur career, and I do remember, right? I was in Ohio and
Hmm.
at the Golden Glove Nationals.
Hmm.
Floyd mentioned that same story to me because we was
Yeah.
like, man, you fought my teammate, man. He's like, gave it
Uh-huh.
to him. junk in the elevator. I said, man, he said you were talking junk in the elevator.
Yeah, nah, I don't talk no junk.
No, that
Never.
wasn't you. I know that ain't your style. So, but y'all know
Yeah.
that's Floyd's style for sure, man.
Uh,
So,
yeah.
and that story, and he brought that up, and that's how me and him got tight based upon your fight. You know what I'm saying? And then,
That's what's up.
as well as Sean Johnson introduced him to me as well, and then,
Yeah.
but yeah, definitely, man. He definitely remembered the hell out you, brother, though, man. From that one, though,
Yeah. Oh,
man.
we fought. It was a good fight, man. It
He
was a
said
very
that too.
competitive fight. Yeah, competitive
And
fight. But he definitely won. But it was I definitely made it a competitive fight for
yes,
sure.
yes, indeed, man. Yes, indeed. So let's
Yeah.
talk about your transition to the professional ranks.
Oh man, listen. It was something that I have that I was already in mind, in my heart. So it was just easy, man. I had gained so much experience as an amateur that now and as a pro, because I had eight pro fights.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and and then I was just ready to just uh, you know give my knowledge, to pass my knowledge on to a fighter, to make that fighter who I couldn't be during that time.
Yeah.
So it was awesome, man. It was a great transition, and you know, uh, God blessed me again to be able to be right at the same gym where I fought as an amateur, and began my professional career as a pro, and then began my professional career as a trainer. And man, it was a blessing, man. It's truly a blessing to have that opportunity for sure.
Yes, indeed, man. We one thing about you that I do like, man. You keep it real with your fighters, and you sometimes use your own career as an
Hmm.
example to because most trainers just gun ho, just trying to perfect, make sure their fighters become world champions or
Hmm.
just become fighters, right? But
Hmm.
one thing about you that I've observed in the gym, you will say it's other alternatives. You can use boxing as um a beacon of something else you can do with
Foundation, yep,
your
yep,
foundation.
yep.
And like for yourself, you knew, and especially back then. See, a lot of people don't know. Back in the days when a lot of us didn't go pro because we wasn't good fighters or we didn't
Hmm.
carry on our money was not the same in the sport of
No,
boxing as it is
no,
now. You
no.
talking $200,
Yeah,
$1,000. I mean,
it
you
was
like the
bad.
early
Yeah,
getting $1,000, man. A little
yeah,
more than that, but
yeah, yeah, for
it
sure.
was terrible. But
Yeah,
you chose the route of becoming a police officer, that
right.
career, because you was thinking about your family.
Family,
So,
right,
so
right.
explain the difference between now as professionals and back then, and why did most of us take the occupation route opposed to the professional route?
Yeah. Well, for me, let me tell you, I didn't have the support. I didn't have the support system that some fighters have. And then it was so hard, uh, getting fights, not being signed. Uh, Same thing that goes on with ticket sales, amongst other things. And I had a family. I got married. I had children. I had some children. So I looked at. I began to look at the big picture. And I said, I love boxing, man. I think I'm good at it. I said, but I have a family that I need to take care of, and as a man, it is my duty to be the head of the household. It is my duty to provide. It's not up to my wife or my children to fend for themselves. So it was something that I grew up, from humble beginnings. So I chose. I prayed on it. Uh, I prayed on it, and I asked God that if He was to bless me with the job as a police officer, because a friend of mine, um, George Long, he was with PG County Police. His wife watched my daughter, my oldest daughter. She was a young baby then, and he the one that told me that, hey man, you bilingual, you in shape, you good looking kid, you got a good attitude. He said, man, I'm sure, pretty sure to hire you. So I just went through the process. I prayed on it and I said, God, if you bless me with this job and this job provides for my family, I said, I promise I'll walk away and never come back. So
Mhm.
I always been a man of my word, man.
Yeah.
My word is bond. My name means a lot to me.
Yeah.
So when I got the job, I was like, oh my God, I wanted to keep going, but then I remember that I made a promise.
Right.
So as a man who I am today, I I held on to my promise. I said, God, I said I walk away, so I walked away. But I came back as a trainer,
Right.
and I began to volunteer while I was a police officer. I became to volunteer and give back, and started working with amateurs. And there you go. That's when I volunteered working with Jared Hurd, which was my first uh, amateur that I actually began to work with in depth, and my very first professional fighter, and my very first multiple three belt holder champion. So man, it was definitely good coming back to give back, and as you know the story goes, man, he became a world champion, man. And it was it's a story behind that too, divine. It's a divine story behind that as well.
Yes, indeed.
That
Yes.
it was a vision that was given to me, and I gave it to him.
Yes.
And before there was anything, any paper sign, any fights, anything, and the vision came to pass. It came to life just the way I gave it to him. So, it was definitely my path. It was for me. It was something that God had in front of me, and he told me to run that route. He said, "Stop there, and then you will get your prize." And I was disciplined to run the route.
Yes,
And when
indeed.
I made a stop and turn, that was my prize. I got it.
Yes, indeed. I was going to get on that topic about the that journey.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I want to talk about this, but a lot of
Uh
people
huh.
don't know that you are a DC Boxing Hall of Fame inductee.
Yes. Yes.
Explain how was that when you found out that you was inducted into the DC Boxing Hall of Fame?
Well, I didn't know, and I got a call late evening by Tom Browner, and he told me that he had received a call, and my name came up, and they wanted to induct me into the Washington D.C. Boxing Hall of Fame, and I was like, sure, who? I'm more than honored to.
Mhm.
And they went through I guess the proper channels. I don't know what goes behind it, but
Mhm.
I was made aware that I would be inducted, and with great pleasure, man. I took that and became a Washington D.C. Boxing Hall of Fame, and I'm proud of that, man. One of the accomplishments that um, no one can take away from you. Dave Jacobs, yeah, man, great, great, great memories. Mr. Jacobs worked the corner with me as a pro and as an amateur. So definitely a history that I don't really talk about too much. I try to, I don't really say too much about what I do my resume, but the truth is there are not too many trainers in this area that can step up to my resume, and,
Right.
and that's the truth. But I just don't talk about it much. I just try to keep it humble, just do what I do, and let the work speak for itself.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I can agree with that, man, 100%, man. You know, when you know a person's journey, really what they've been through and where they're going, you respect it a little more than most. And I know your journey, you know what I'm saying, from just being in the gym with you, training with you,
Hmm.
and to see that you was able to keep Hillcrest um take it to the level that it's never been because to what you and what Jared did was something that was amazing, man. Like,
Phenomenal, man. Yeah.
phenomenal. It's like what's on another level. I mean,
Right.
as I was looking through some of the fights, right? Jared didn't have an easy ride to get to where he's at. You know what I'm saying?
No,
On that
not at
time.
all.
You guys fought Olympians. You fought world champions, former world champions, multiple division world
Hmm.
champions,
Hmm.
and um for what he did, man, and what you guys did together, that's something that's definitely got to be recognized, man, and be a part of history. When he won that title, and he was announced after knocking out his opponent,
Mm-hmm.
what went through your head when that hand was raised and that belt was given to you?
Hey man, it was a fulfillment. You know, it was a dream that was manifested. You know, like I said, it was a vision that was given to me, and I shared it with him before he had any professional fight. I told him that I had got a dream. God had given me a dream that he was going to become a world champion on his 20th fight. I also told him that he was going to sign with Al Heyman, and I told him that shortly after he became a world champion, he was going to win some more titles. And that was before he had zero fights, because that's the way it was given to me. So I took on the responsibility of being trainer and manager throughout his whole career until we parted ways with the Julian Williams fight. So throughout his career, I had the opportunity to pick his fights and to prepare him. I had a great supportive team behind me who assisted with the preparation as well. So it was a group effort. It wasn't just me, but I was the I guess the captain running the ship. Um, and it was an opportunity for me to use everything that I learned throughout the boxing system. I talked to different people. I did my own homework with contract, read this, read that. I looked up tapes, who we fight, and what people don't know is that there are several times that I said no, we're not ready to fight that fight.
Mhm.
And there was some pressure put on about taking those fights. You will make this type of money, but I said no. I turned it down. I said later on down the road, we're gonna take that fight and make 10 times what you're offering. And these are the conversations I had with the big guys.
Right,
It's a lot of stuff behind the scene that was done that I took care of. That you sacrifice, but you don't talk about because
right,
you do it because you love what you're doing and you want to
right.
be successful. And it all paid out. It all paid out. Great. I mean, I'm grateful. There was so much more on the table that could have taken place, but things happen, and things went a different route, and hey, I'm glad that I got the opportunity to uh, to achieve what I achieved. And Jared, man, he made a name for himself, and he did well. Man, he put his name in the books. So overall, it was a win-win situation for everybody. So I don't look back. I don't have no ill feelings about anything. I'm grateful.
Yes,
Like
indeed.
I said, it was so much more, but hey, it is what it is.
Yes,
It was
indeed.
good.
You know, the mission was accomplished, man, to become a world champion. That was the mission to produce a world champion to become a
Yeah,
world champion. And
hey,
I congratulate y'all still to this day because
yeah,
you put one in the history books for Hillcrest too as well.
yeah,
Because that
yeah,
that's something that's gonna stand there forever. So
yeah,
now let's talk about today.
yeah,
The new crop of champions that you building right now.
yeah.
Frankie Scarborough Jr.,
Huh?
uh, Irvin
Urban
Fuller.
Trade Full. I got his shirt
Yes,
on.
indeed, yes, indeed, man. And you know, I watch you, man, and I see you still use those same. You got those same calculated moves
Yeah,
with
yeah.
him. Cause me and you talked after the fight.
Right,
You was like when Irvin had his first fight. We still got Tom's mindset. So
yeah,
right, so when you
yeah.
talking, I'm with you, right? So I'm like,
uh,
he was like, that was
right,
kind of it was worth it was a great fight because he had to work, he had to dig
right,
for that one.
right,
And he
right,
was like,
right.
it's kind of a little stiff for him, bro. What you think, Sheet? I
Yeah,
say, yeah, a little bit, but it was good.
yeah,
But
yeah,
step
yeah,
back after that when you already knew that too, though. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
so that calculation, I say, man, man. Nesto got that mind like Tom had, man, because Tom
Yeah.
was like that too with us, with you.
Right. Right.
With
Right.
Super Pro game, he was calculated with the
Right.
fights he picked. So,
Yeah.
um, how is this a new group of crop of fighters that you have, man? And what's the plans for these young future world champions?
Well, right now the two pros that I'm working with is Frankie the franchise. He's 6-0 with 5 knockouts. Irvin Fuller, Jr. I mean, the third. I'm sorry, Irvin Trey Fuller the third. He's 6-0 with 3 knockouts. Those are the two pros that I've been working with. I've been working with them since they had 0 fights. So I'm building them up. In preparation for bigger fights. I also have some great amateurs. Marlon Smith, 125 pounders, who's going to the nationals for the second time this year. And I have Mr. Williams. I call him Superman. Tyreek Superman Williams, 132 open class, who's fighting this week in the regional championship to
Okay.
go to the nationals open class. So and then I train a whole bunch of kids and up and coming young fighters that are developing. I also work with Jakeem Hutcherson. I'm not his official trainer, but I assist. I'm like
Yeah.
I come in and assist as
Yeah.
needed. Bulldog Brandon Quarles is his trainer. He's
Okay.
been his trainer for quite some time,
Yes,
and they
indeed.
train with us. So we all like a family. We all help out, help each other. When they need me, I come in and assist as much as possible. And he's 11-1, if I'm not, or 12-1, something like that. I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Good.
Um, so we definitely have a great deal of good fighters that are coming up and doing extremely well. May 18th, Francois, Frankie the franchise is fighting a tough opponent. Trey Fuller is fighting another undefeated fighter from Virginia. It's a step up fight for him.
Okay.
Um, and we look at, man. Listen, one thing about me is we look to build the
Yeah.
fighters properly. In a I'm not in a rush. I always tell
Yeah.
my fighters, um, you know, you cannot rush success.
Not at all.
You have to allow uh, 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 the right time, right place. There's a scripture that said the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, but time and chance happens to them all. Ecclesiastes 9:11. It's longer
Okay.
than that, but I showed it up.
Yes,
Time
indeed.
and chance will happen for you at its appointed time. When God has something for you, it's for you. You don't have to look at your next man. You don't have to compete with the next man. You just got to just run your route, like I ran my route. So
Yeah.
I tell my guys that let's run our own route. There are so many talented fighters in the DMV. That you can all fight each other, but why?
Yeah.
We all trying to get out of the same place to reach financial success for our family because they call prize fighters for a reason. You fight for money. We ain't fighting for fame, for bragging
Well,
rights. We ain't fighting for none of that. We
right.
fighting for that bread, and I'm about making money.
That's right.
If nobody knows, I'm on live with Rashid Hammer. I'm a, I'm about making money. If you ain't trying to
You
make no money, don't come this way. You
you
know
on
what
the
I'm
right
saying?
one, man. I'm about the same thing with you, brother. Yes, indeed.
I'm gonna give you what I got, and I expect the same. If you
Yes, indeed.
can't, don't waste my time. I am a God fearing man. I am a man that's gonna give you 100%, man. But I don't have time to play games, man.
That's right.
I have a family, and so much going on that
No
that
enough.
I take my time very I take it very serious.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
May 18th, we're going to have a good show. We got Short Dog, Jordan White, who's
Okay.
headliner.
Yeah, Jordan. Yeah,
We
Jordan
just
White.
I Yeah, we just left his gym. We
Okay.
just left his gym. We were down
Got
there
that work
sparring with.
coming in.
Oh yeah, great work with Jordan White, amongst others that were there. Trey got to spar with some guys. Uh, Irvin sparred with Short Dog, and he sparred with another undefeated fighter.
Okay.
Great work, man. I can't think of the guy's name on top of my head right now, but it'll come to me. Nevertheless, it was great work. So we preparing, man, for the fight. I think there's another young undefeated fighter from the area. He trains with Andrew Council. I can't think of his name right now. Oh man, it'll come to me. But there's another young fighter that's fighting on the card. I think he's the co-main event. What is the kid's name? Uh,
I think I know you're talking about light skinned kid.
Light
Yeah,
skin kid. He's pretty good, man. Good fighter. Very good fighter. He trains with Andrew Council. I just can't think of his name right now.
yeah.
But he's the co-main event. Then you have Frankie, and then you have Irvin. So it's going to definitely be a great night of boxing, a great show. I encourage everyone to come out and support DC Boxing. These young guys are going to put on an excellent performance. These guys, I seen these guys fight, spar, and listen, they serious, man. So eh, May 18th, come on out. My guys going to put on the show. I can tell you that they're going to be fit and ready, mentally, physically, spiritually. We're going to put on a great show, and I mean, I'm just looking forward to the future, man. I see good things, and I think as long as my fighters stay focused, disciplined, live the right lifestyle, and I think as long as they do their part and I do my part, hey, God's gonna do the rest. You know, he's gonna once again give me a route and tell me to run the route. If you run your route, and when you get to that point, I'm gonna give you what you deserve, and that's the way I look at it.
Man, you're doing an excellent job with them guys, man. I was look. I said, "Damn, that still got nothing but a stable full of undefeated fighters right now, mainly, man, in his camp." So, I know how your mindset is with calculations of picking the right opponents. One thing about you, I ain't gonna is the difference between you and most other trainers that I notice. You're not looking for easy opponents. You're looking for the right opponents.
Right,
That's what
right,
I noticed about you.
right,
It's not about finding an easy opponent. You're looking for the right opponent. So
right,
and that's a big difference between the development of a lot of future world champions is because some
right,
some guys can have 20 ducks and learn nothing.
right,
It's like the
right.
fight we talking about with Irvin. That was a learning fight for him
50,
where he had to
50,
learn
50.
fast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
50
50 fight. Yeah,
fast in that one.
yeah,
He
yeah, yeah,
adjusted, and so it
yeah.
showed me the character of him in the professional game. I want to go to this clip right here with Frankie, man.
Uh-huh.
Let's talk about it once it goes off after this. Yeah, I had to play that, man. Just how you was excited, man, about that one,
Yeah,
man. What was
yeah.
going through your head when he was catching that guy with those shots like that, man?
Hey, man. Listen. What people do not know is that this guy uh, was a Cuban fighter that had 90 amateur fights in Cuba,
Yeah.
and we were not disclosed that when we were making the fight.
Right.
We were disclosed that he's a good transition MMA boxer fight. Um, and and knowing all of that at the end just kind of heightened everything much more. Like, hey man, this Cuban fighters got
Yeah.
they got a reputation, and
For sure.
he was a tough fighter. He actually landed a good shot in the first round, and Frankie said, man, he could punch.
Yeah.
So so we knew that it was going to be a tough fight. So when he stopped him, I was really excited because it was a moment of joy. Just to see all the hard work that we put in the ring, and the outcome of it, and he jumping in the ring, excited. We all wearing suits, looking all good,
Yeah.
and just having a great time, man. I mean, and listen, that's what it's all about, man.
Yes. Yes.
It's having fun while you doing what you love doing and make some money at the same time.
Yes, indeed, man. I was excited for both all these guys that fight, man.
Mm,
Because I did notice the guy was a little difficult. And from you telling me this, them Cuban fighters, man, you know you got a problem. If 90
yeah,
people don't understand, like these people might say, that's the am. Listen, when somebody got over 80 fights or 100 fights, you got to be
they got,
worried. That guy seen
yeah,
every style in the game.
yeah, yeah,
So it's more to it than just, okay, he got 90 and he's not dissing the pros. That
right.
80 fights or 100 fights mean he know how to get out of the way
Not
at
a
certain
fight, right,
times. Exactly,
right,
exactly. But
right.
listen,
Yeah.
brother, before we go off, I want you to can you give advice to the future of boxing? What advice would you have for a young up and coming fighter to look out for and be aware of?
Well, I always start with discipline. You have to be a disciplined fighter. You have to know what you want and know how to get it. And faith without works is dead. You can have all the faith in the world, but if you don't put the work, it's not going to happen. Therefore, you have to have a sense of mindset of knowing what you need, knowing what you want, knowing how to get it. Surround yourself with good people. Tell me who you hang with, and I can tell you who you are.
That's
And
right.
if you're not there yet, you're going to become that person that you hang with sooner or later. Um, Surround yourself with people that have experience, good character, good morals. Because sooner or later, you're going to stop picking up those things from those individuals that you're hanging with. Um, we have so many gyms in the DMV area. We have so many good trainers. We have so many good coaches. At the end of the day, you have to find someone that you can have a report with, someone you could trust, because people get hurt in boxing. The last thing I want to see is any of my fighters get hurt. Um, Dedicate yourself. You want to do this, dedicate yourself to it.
Yes, indeed.
Make sure that you live the lifestyle of a fighter. Drugs and alcohol are dream killers. They're gonna kill your dreams sooner or later.
Yep.
So especially in boxing, it don't work.
Oh,
It'll catch up with you sooner or later. It's gonna take away the gift that God has given you.
right.
So keep God in your life. Have a sense of knowing who He is and what He can do for you. Uh, you know, it's for me. It's number one, the peace that I have, the assurance and the insurance that God gives me. Allows me to be able to stay level headed, to be able to think about what I'm about to do, think about what I'm about to say. Pray and fast on certain things that I need to do. So as a fighter, you definitely have to have a sense of worship to God, to render yourself so God can give you what it is that you needed to take yourself, your family, and those to the next level. Boxing is a hard sport. It's a hurt business. You hook up with a coach, trainer that's going to move you right. So many times we see young fighters that are very talented, and 3 years later they're not fighting no more.
Facts.
4 years later they ain't fighting no more. Too much wear and tear, too many mileage put on too fast.
Yep.
Uh, so uh, I just, that's my advice to them, man. Just know where and when and how, and get on your knees and ask God for guidance. Because if you believe, it will come to you. Just, pray and fast and keep God first. Stay disciplined and make sure that you do your part, and the door will be open for you.
Yes, indeed, brother. I really truly appreciate you for taking the time to stop through here and get those jewels to the future boxing, as well as those that don't know a lot about your career, from you being able to present it from the amateurs all the way up. Most
Right.
people the media people probably talk to you more on the training side. But I thank you for taking the time out, brother, stopping through here. You welcome here anytime if you want to come on, or just talk about fights in the future. Got one more question for you before I end it.
Uh,
Ryan Garcia or Devin Haney this Saturday coming up?
uh, I'm gonna go for David Haney.
Okay.
I think that he's a little more disciplined. But this is boxing. All it takes is one
Yeah.
shot, and the fight could be over. But I'm leaning towards Devin Haney. Oh, and it just came to mind. The May 15th is Jordan White, Dwayne Holmes. That's what I'm
Dwayne
thinking of.
Holmes,
Dwayne
because he's
Dwayne
some
Holmes Jr. Yeah.
he's related to what's the guy name? The one of the Holmes. What's his name? Man, Dirk Holmes. He's related to Dirk
Derek.
Holmes.
Okay.
He's
Yeah.
related to Dirk Holmes.
It's going Jordan White, Dwayne Holmes, Frankie Scarborough, and Irvin Trey Fuller. Those are
That's
four that I was thinking about earlier. I
that's a
couldn't
stacked
think of
card,
his
man.
name, but yeah. So hey, Devin Haney all the
Okay,
way. I think Devin
okay,
Haney going to win by decision. I don't think it's going to be a knockout, but
yeah,
if you knock him out, I'll be happy.
yeah. Showed up, showed up.
I like Devin Haney.
Devin
Good
Haney.
fight.
Okay, you got Devin. I'm
Yeah.
I'm gonna collect all these different answers, man. I mentally I got Devin. Only thing I hope Devin just be careful with, because that guy can crack, man. He a
Oh,
sneaky
he can
punch.
punch.
He can
Yeah, he can
punch.
punch.
So that's what I'm
He
worried
can
about
punch.
with it. But I'm
Yeah.
going with Devin was because the last performance Devin put on a spectacular performance.
Hey,
That
he's
ooh,
a disciplined fighter.
he is. He
Listen,
don't drink. Do nothing.
he's not the biggest puncher. He
Yeah,
ain't the strongest fighter. He ain't the fastest, but he's
but he's
disciplined. And
disciplined.
his discipline has allowed him to become undisputed now 140-pound champion. Listen, this is a kid that you want to learn from. Look at
That's
Devin
him.
Haney, man. He's a good
Hey,
kid to learn from. Discipline.
facts. That's facts, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, it was an honor and a pleasure to have on here
My pleasure,
DC
LeBron.
boxing legend, DMV boxing legend, DC Boxing Hall of Fame inductee, as well as world class trainer. Ladies and gentlemen, it was an honor and a pleasure to have no other than Ernesto Rodriguez on the Second Win Sports Media. Peace.
Peace. God bless.
This episode have been brought to you by Raw Vegan Plant-Based Protein Powder, the undisputed champion of plant-based protein powder. I got mine. It's time for you to get yours. Visit rawvegan.com.